T. Clark here. In this video, we'll go over the second FRQ for Unit 4. So in Unit 4, the sample problem is 7 random numbers. We'll have 2 parameters, max and round. So I look at the method header down here. 7 random nums has a max and a rounds, and they both are ints. The method will iterate for the number of rounds. So if it's a 3, it'll have 3 iterations. It looks like 1, 2, 3 sections. And then 5, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, just looking ahead at what's going on. So in each round, 7 random numbers from 1 to max inclusive are generated, excuse me, and appended to a string. So I have to return a string. At the end of the round, a dash is appended to the string. So it looks like I have 7 numbers and a dash. 7 random numbers and a dash. 7 random numbers and a dash. And in this case, all the random numbers are 1 through 5 because there's a 5 for the max. Down here, I have 9 as the max. So 7 random numbers, always 7. From 1 to 9 in this case. So 7 random numbers from 1 to 9, 7 random numbers from 1 to 9, 7 random numbers from 1 to 9, and each time there's a dash. So after it, so there's a dash at the end. And it is random. I actually did this code and I ran it, and these are the numbers I got, even though there's only one there. So finally, the result string should be returned. Okay, so that's basically it. So I want to, again, start off with this method header. So I'm going to copy that. You should just copy it on paper. We don't need the main, so I'm going to scroll down so I don't see that main. That's not part of the code. So here we go. So enter, bracket, enter. I want to start building a string. So to build a string, I have to set up my string. And I always like using that result variable name. And I start with a blank string. And like always, I return my result right away. That way I don't forget. So return result, string result. Again, I'm matching that type. So if you write this, you might get 1 full point. So if it's the 3-point problem, that's 1 point right there, just matching the type and returning that correct type. You get some points. And then, especially if you try. If this is all you have, maybe not. Maybe you won't get a point. But if you try some other stuff, and you definitely have this and this, these 2 lines, you might get some points, depending on how many points it's worth and what a point breakdown is. So what I want to do, I want to iterate for rounds. So I'm going to loop through rounds. So I'm going to loop through for int I equals 0. I'm just starting with I. I always start with I less than rounds, and I plus plus. Now, if I think about this, do I say, do I want I to be 1 or equal to, or what do I want? So if I have a 5 here, if I have 5 rounds, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's 5 numbers that are all less than 5. If I start at 0, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's 5 rounds. So it looks like that works. So I have my rounds, and each round, I want to do what? I want to get 7 random numbers. Okay, so I want to get a number. So I'm going to do another loop for int j. So I need another variable, and I'm doing it 7 numbers. So j is less than 7. J plus plus. I don't need the actual numbers. I don't need 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just need random numbers. So I'm just going to loop it like this. So I have 7 numbers for each round, and then I want to get a random number. So I'm going to say int r equals, and I double check r isn't being used. Okay, there's no r being used. I could just say random. I'll put that there. Equals, and how do I do math.random? I do math.random with parentheses. Okay, and then I want to do from 1 to max, inclusive. So it's an inclusive. So if I have a 5 here, I want to multiply by that max. And then I want to make sure it's an int only. So I don't want a double, I don't want decimals. So I have to cast it as an int. And right now, this actually gives me 0 through 4. So I want to start at 1. So plus 1. I don't have to worry about range, because the range, since I'm starting at 1, it just goes to that max. And it's already set up. So that's my random number. I want to add it or append it or concatenate it to my result. So I want my result to add that one number, rand number. I want to add that random number to result. And since it's a string, it'll just concatenate. The plus will be concatenation. It's not doing addition since I already set up my string. So I don't need to do anything fancy. I already have it set up to concatenate. Okay, then what else? Do I have everything? Okay, I double check. I can iterate for rounds. Got that. 7 random numbers from 1 to max inclusive. Okay, got that random. And I appended to the string. Check mark. At the end, oh, I forgot this. At the end of the round, a dash is appended to the string. Okay, so after the round, after the 7 numbers, so that's right here. It's not after the other for loop because I want to do it for every round. So it has to be in this middle section someplace. So after all those numbers, I want to say append or concatenate a dash to the end. And I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Because I made this problem myself, of course. So the result string should be returned. I didn't forget that because I did that first. Return the result, just because of my habits. So here we go. This is a solution to that FRQ problem number 2 in this case. Have a good day.